Alright guys, this very sickly spec is live. I don't know how long I'm going to manage, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I do know what we're going to do, we're going to smash out more of the same, you know. Creed, how you doing? How's things? How's life? Tell me all about it. I'm just sending the DMs. You can do it, I'm guessing you mean, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. There's a call. Mrs. Bickle Chips, welcome, welcome. How you doing? How's things? How's life? Tell me all about it. So how is everybody doing today? Yeah, let's put camera on. I didn't realize it was off. There we are. Yeah, I understand. Dakota, welcome on YouTube. How you doing? How's things? How's life? Tell me all about it. Well, I was just going to do something, and my brain went, nope. I know what I was going to do. Looking like we may have a quiet day today. Wednesdays are usually pretty good. Although I am streaming later in the day than ideal because I've been sleeping most of the day because I'm really not well. Running 2 clients at the moment, watching 2 streams, busy today. Yeah, that's fine. You didn't mention who it is. I know who you're watching, but yeah. Jacob, welcome, welcome. How you doing? How's things? How's life? Tell me all about it. I'm here, mostly awake, so good, awesome. I'm currently arguing with with a bigot on social media, so you'll have to bear with me. Well, apparently, according to this person, I choose to be disabled. You know? Apparently, somehow I've chosen to not be able to work. Their exact comment was, I prefer to work and support my family while you prefer to do nothing and sit on your ass. And I'm like, I very much preferred working. I very much preferred working. You know, I enjoyed my job. My job was great. In fact, I've enjoyed every job I've had. I was a youth worker, and then I was a social worker, and I loved both of them. So, like, if I had the option, you know, if there was some kind of magic choice, I would very much choose to go back to work. In fact, my dream job, and I don't know if I've talked about this on stream, I know I have probably talked to some of you guys about this, but my dream job is to go into nursing. Right, if I could, you know, sit and stand like and walk like a normal person, I would be back in university right now training to be a nurse. Wouldn't even question it, and I'd get in because I have good grades. You know, I would 100% right now, in fact, probably right now, be on my way home from university, but whatever, I would 100% be training to be a nurse. And then hopefully passing and going on to be a nurse. So like, yeah, I didn't choose to be in the situation that I'm in. Yeah, well, I don't know. I know some people who really don't want to work, you know. I do personally know some people who are happy not having a job and don't have an interest in getting a job. And if I, I don't have any opinion on that. There are lots of reasons why that's the case. So I just very politely explained to them that one day, some years ago, I woke up and could not walk. You know? It wasn't a case of, you know, I didn't like quit my job out of the fun of it or anything. I woke up one day and couldn't walk. And I never properly regained the ability to walk. You know, sitting, like, you guys, I talk about it openly and honestly. You guys know how much even just streaming hurts. And streaming is something I love doing. So if I can't do something I love for usually longer than an hour or two, like, realistically speaking, how am I meant to do a job? Like, let's say, theoretically, there was a job that I can work from home. Which, work from home jobs are highly, you know, they would have to understand that my ability to sleep and wake up on a schedule is non-existent because of pain. So it would need to be a job that I can just randomly pick up and put down whenever I need to. How many like jobs like that exist? Not many. You know? And this is what people don't understand. There are some people who take advantage of the amazing system we have in place in Britain. There are some people who take advantage of it, and it really bothers me because it makes it hard for those of us that actually need the system to use the system. Because, you know, they have, like, everyone talks about benefit fraud, but, like, in Britain, benefit fraud is less than 2% of claimants are fraudulent. And they put a lot of effort, they put a lot of time and effort into finding people who are fraudulently claiming benefits. They check your social medias, they talk to your doctors, they check your medical records, they check your how often you order medications. If you have a therapist, even if, like, they'll talk to your therapist. If you know, they'll randomly call your family members and friends and ask questions about you. It's not a case of, you know, you just go, yeah, I want money, please, and they give you money, you know? Like, they put a massive concerted effort into finding people who are fraudulently claiming. You know, they'll come and randomly visit you at home, and they'll see if you're well dressed and what you're up to and whatever else. Like, in Britain, I don't know what it's like in other countries, but in Britain, benefit fraud is something like 1.4%. And they put ridiculous amounts of effort into trying to get you off benefits. You don't fill in a form correctly, even if it's an accident, you're counted as defrauding the government and you're banned from benefits. You know? You volunteer. Let's say I decided I wanted to go and volunteer somewhere. Like, there's a charity over the road from me in an old clinic that doing mental health support. I could theoretically go and volunteer with them, but if they find out, they will say if you can volunteer, you can work, so you shouldn't be on benefits. Which I don't agree, because the things with a volunteer job is if you're sick or you can't wake up or whatever, like, you're not going to lose your volunteer position, most likely. But if you know, repeatedly late for work, you'd rather put up with some more benefit fraud than have people put through that. Yeah, so it depends on what benefits you're on. So if you're on, I'm on complete disability. They're called limited capability for work and work related activities, which means I cannot do a single thing. I get more money for that. Not a lot of money, mind you, but I get some more money for that, but I cannot do a single thing. I cannot, you know? Like, to be straight up and honest, there's a reason that I don't use my real name when I'm streaming. And the thing is, you guys, you know, I've been streaming now for almost a year, and you guys have seen me on good days where I stream 4, 5, 6 hours, and you've guys seen me on average days where I might manage 2.5 hours, and you see me on bad days where I don't even manage an hour. Now explain to me, in a situation like that, how am I supposed to work? Like, can you think of a... Can you think of a situation? Can you think of a situation in which, like, that makes sense? You know, like, I would love to do volunteer work, and I do some little things here. Like, there are a few charities that I do. There are a few charities that I do graphic design for and stuff, and I'm not officially a volunteer, so I can get away with that. But it's just frustrating to me. And it's annoying because, and I think a lot of people struggle with it, is because I'm a young guy, you know? And there's this idea that young men should be in the workforce and should be providing. And, you know, like, I would very much like to be able to give me and my mum, because I live with my mum, I'm open and honest about this. My mum needs somebody to live with her because early onset dementia is a thing. I would love to be able to give us both a better quality of life. Right? Like, realistically speaking, we're in a position where we live month to month. You know, we had an unexpected payment in the household last month. Well, I did. And we've got pretty much no food in. You know, I get paid on Friday, so it's not the end of the world. But we've got pretty much no food in. Now, is that really a way? This guy's claiming that people on benefits get thousands of pounds. And I'm like, that's just not realistic. Like, we live in the most affordable type of housing, social housing. If you live in a private rented place, like a flat or a house, it's going to cost twice as much as what our house costs. So, how, like, you know, it, and I think part of it is, like, very luckily this person has never had to live on benefits, right? This person has never been in a position where they couldn't or didn't work, or at least not for any length of time, and that's great. You know, the fact that realistically speaking, for most people, you can get a job. You know, if you can stand, walk, and follow instructions, you can get a job. It might be minimum wage, but minimum wage isn't that bad in Britain. It's like $15 an hour. But, but realistically speaking, there are some people like me who, for whatever reason, whether it's physical or mental health, cannot work. And there is this kind of like, the government has bred this animosity towards people on benefits. You know, they have said that we are the problem. We are the reason the government is failing, not, you know, the government's out to control spending. Or, you know, the government cutting tax brackets for the highest earners. You know? The issues of the NHS isn't that they don't fund it properly. The issue with the NHS is that too many people use it when they shouldn't. You know, there's this big advertisement campaign that they ran in Britain over the winter of use the NHS appropriately. And I'm like, don't go to A&E, the ER, as you guys may call it, if you don't need to. I've got a friend whose child has got scarlet fever, right? They rang their GP. Well, no, in fact, they rang a pharmacist first, and the pharmacist said, we can't give out antibiotics without a doctor's prescription, because in Britain, you can go to a pharmacist and you can get some prescription meds without ever having to see a doctor. And we do this because we just don't have enough doctors. And they said antibiotics are on the, you know, do not prescribe by a. So they rang their GP, and their GP said, we've got no appointments. They said, try the emergency out of hours GP service. I'm not going to say the name of it because the name of that service is local to where you go. So they ring that and they say, we got no appointments. Ring this number. And they ring this number and they say, we'll ring your GP and get you an appointment. And they ring the GP and the GP says, go to A&E. You know, so you've got people who are wanting to do the right thing. You've got people who are wanting to do the very best they can do to not abuse the system. But the system's failing them. So it's just frustrating. It's frustrating because the average British person is apparently not intelligent enough to understand what is happening. I like it how that guy has not replied to my comment. I very much just shut that guy down. I was like, now you know my medical history, you explain to me what exactly job you think I can do, and I will try my best to do it. You know? Tell me a job I can do when I have to spend most of the day in bed, and I'll give it a go. Is the bot working today? Jacob rolled, so yeah, but I may as well roll. In Ontario, the provincial government is allowing privatised health treatment for some things as a stopgap measure to reduce waiting lists in the public system. Yeah, we've been doing that in my country for years. But really, it's systemic defunding the public system over the course of decades and got into such trouble. Once again, been like that in Britain for years. Like, the NHS is beautiful, but it's just massively underfunded and understaffed. And part of the issue is they don't pay enough. You know? Like, in Britain, I think it was something like 1 in 7 nurses have to use a food bank because they can't afford food. So, like, we've got 100,000 NHS posts, like job advertisements, that are not filled. Yeah, no, exactly the same here, Miss Biffships. We all are saying the same. In Britain, there are 100,000 jobs, mostly for nurses, but also for everyone from cleaning people to neurosurgeons, but mostly nurses. We got 100,000 posts in Britain that are not filled. You know, the government could say, look, we will pay for you to train to be a nurse, and if you work as a nurse in the NHS for so many hours over so many years, we'll just write off the debt. You know, if the government really cared that much about the NHS working, they could just say, you train to be a nurse, you go to university, we pay for it. You know, we do have student finance in Britain. But, you know, then you owe debt. And they say, you work, you know, 40 hours a week for so many weeks a year on average for, I don't know, 5 or 10 years, and we'll just write off your debt. You know, you've been a public servant for that long, you've worked in the system, you've dedicated your time to the system, we'll just write off your debt. They could do the same for visas. There are lots of nurses who are fully qualified nurses who want to move to Britain, but it's too difficult because you can't be a band 1 nurse and get, which is like the lowest paid nurse band. You can't be a band 1 nurse and get a visa because you don't earn enough money. But if they would say to them, come to Britain, work in the NHS for so many hours a year for 10 years and we'll give you citizenship. You know? Obviously they would have to know English and things, but you come to Britain, work in the NHS for so many years, and we will just give you citizenship. You know? You have provided a critical service to the British people for a decade. You deserve to be able to call Britain your home. Now, if they would do that, they would be flooded with applications. But they won't do that because, you know, our current government is all about people who are from different countries are the enemy. You know, migrant crisis, this, that, and the other. Where immigration in a developed country is massively important because we don't have enough kids. You know? On average, people in highly developed countries do not have enough kids to support the older generation. That's just a fact. You know, and Canada sees that. Like, Canada welcomes immigrants much better than Britain does. I imagine there are people. I imagine there are people in Canada who feel the way how people in Britain feel, but I imagine the minority. But in Britain, we are like, you know, you're not from Britain, so you don't deserve to be here or whatever. I don't get that. I think, you know, we are a global society and we're all one species and we all should support each other wherever we can. That's my opinion. My opinion is, if somebody, like, the thing that annoys me is everyone always says that immigrants come to Britain and want benefits and don't want to work. Most people who immigrate to Britain want to work, but they're not allowed to. You come here as an asylum seeker, you're not allowed to get a job. So the only option that they've got is to live on state aid, to live on benefits. Right? But, like, I've talked to some people who are in, you know, who are here as asylum seekers, and I have, you know, I have watched people being interviewed who are asylum seekers, and almost exclusively, they all want a job. You know, they want to feel like they're making a difference and becoming a part of society, and part of that is doing a job, and most of them want a public service job. Public sector job, sorry. Most of them want to go into things like nursing, hospital care, you know, working for councils or governments or whatever, because they want to make a difference. You know, they don't want to just do some pointless menial job like they will do if you offered it them, but they want to make a difference. They want to, you know, be an advantage to Britain, not a weight around the neck. And we don't let them. But then we complain that they don't work. And I find it hilarious, to be honest, that on the one hand, the government is saying, look at these asylum seekers, they want to come here and have benefits, they don't want to get a job. Then on the other hand, they're saying asylum seekers are not allowed to work in Britain. And I'm like, if you actually talk to them, if you take the time and effort to reach out to them like the fucking human beings, you'll understand that they want what most of us human beings want. Safety, food, a roof over their head. They want to work and make a difference. They want to feel like they want their life to have meaning. And a big part in modern society of your life having meaning is having a job. You know? It commands some level of self-respect when you can work. And we don't let them because, well, there's lots of reasons why. You know, there's lots of reasons why, but it boils down to stealing our jobs. And the answer is a lot of the jobs that immigration people do, British people won't do. You know? So, like, my dad's a farmer, so's my brother. And, like, 90% of the workforce on the two firms that they work on, they don't work on the same firm, immigrants. And it used to be European. Eastern Europeans used to come as a seasonal worker. They would spend 3 months a year in Britain as part of the EU, and they would, you know, pick lettuce or get sprouts or leeks or whatever, you know, menial, like, barely reaching minimum wage job that it would be. You know, and that's how the industry worked. And then we left the EU, and those people cannot legally come here because the job isn't high paying enough for them to be allowed to come and work here. So now we've got issues of massive food inflation in Britain because we're having to pay workers 3-4 times the amount just to have British people actually think it's worthwhile. Because, you know, working a manual job in a service economy it's not a glorified thing, you know? Being a farmer isn't something that everyone aspires to do. And I understand it, right? When I was a kid, I went to work on the farm with my dad many a times, and like the pay's pretty crappy, and it's hard fucking graft. So when you can go and sit in a call center, or be some kind of technician or support worker or whatever, why would you want to go and do a really physically demanding job for less money? You wouldn't want to. So I don't blame the British people. You know, we, like many European countries, are a service economy. We make our money by providing things like financial and technical services to other countries. You know, that's just the natural progression. But why would you want to? And remember, guys, in the later parts of the year, which is when we need the most workers on farms, it's cold. It's not freezing, but it's not uncommon for it to be around 0 degrees Celsius. It's raining a lot of the time. You know? You're in the middle of a gigantic field, so all that wind, all that rain's hitting you. It's muddy. Obviously, it's dirty. Yeah, but you are a particular type of person, Mrs. Bifflechips. And don't take that as an insult. Like, you are a type of person who likes being hands-on with things. You know, like, you can see that from the type of crafts that you do. You like doing actual things with your hands. You know? Whereas most people in Britain, at least, aren't like that. They want to sit in a nice air-conditioned or heated office, tapping away on their keyboard, mindlessly doing whatever. And they're happy with that. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, if you are happy with your job, or content at least, it doesn't matter what it is. You know? You know, my would it be my uncle? They're not married. My auntie's boyfriend or fiance, they got engaged recently, is a bin man. Is a refuse worker. And he loves this job. You know? And like, he's had people, you know, over the many years, especially when he was younger, who would like insult him for doing the job. But in Britain, they're paid really well. You know, he walks like 14 miles a day. You know, and he has, yeah, like I do when I'm streaming, he has one headphone in listening to music, just walking around collecting bins, having a chat to the guy he works with, postal workers sometimes, whatever, and he loves his job. He doesn't care if it's raining, he doesn't care if it's cold or hot or whatever, like, he's just happy. Thank you for the alert, Cat. Doesn't need to pay for a gym membership. Exactly, you know? But most people in Britain are not like that, you know? Most people don't want to be, you know, walking and lifting heavy things and being out in the rain or the snow or the heat. Like, and that's fine. There are lots and lots of jobs in Britain where you are inside a lovely climate controlled building. But the problem that we've got is when we do not allow workers from other countries who, you know, like the minimum wage in Britain is pretty crappy for the cost of living in Britain. But if you live in, say, Poland, and you're coming to Britain to work for 3 months, you could theoretically do nothing and have enough money to live your life. Because the cost of living in Poland is so much less. You know, the minimum wage in Britain is meant to give you a minimum level of comfort in Britain. But if you live in a country where the cost of living is, you know, half of what it is in Britain, like it is in Poland, you come here to work for 3 months, you can spend the 9 months of the year working minimum hours just to pass the time by, and you're fine. Like, the EU, I was and continue to be an EU, like, positive person. I very much voted Remain, and if I ever got the chance, I would vote to re-enter the EU, because the EU gave us access to a workforce to do jobs that people in Britain didn't want to do. And it also gave us access to a workforce for jobs that people in Britain can't do. You know? You need a neurosurgeon. When are you more likely to find one free? In a workforce of 60, 70 million people, or in a workforce of, you know, however many are in the EU? I don't fucking know. Sorry, I've just been ranting this entire stream pretty much. Interesting, frustrating topic, definitely. I think it's even more interesting because this is the part of Britain that you don't hear about in the news very often. You know? Especially if you don't live in Britain. Right, guys, so let's play a game. What is your favourite and least favourite thing about the country you live? Yeah. I mean, we are spending billions of pounds building a high-speed train system so people can get to London faster. Least favourite out of voted system, same. Lack of public transportation, yeah. Tyler, I messaged you the other day, man. How you doing? It might have been yesterday, actually. You ignored my message asking how you doing. Dreadful. You doing alright? Been staying busy? I know the feeling. I'm being forced to rest at the moment because I'm ill and it's really bothering me. That's fair enough, Mr. Biffle Chips. But yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that you're keeping busy. I hope you're not too busy. I hope you're not too busy. Busyness is great until you get too busy and then you're stressed. Like, my busy is somewhere between good busy and bad busy. Ugh. We got this, guys. We got this. Twitch is just like, no stream for you. Tyler, what have you been up to? I know you said you were busy, but what are you busy with? That's what I need to know. Thank you for the alert, Mr. Biffle Chips. Creed, thank you for the alert. Everybody's leaving me now. You haven't left, was just in the restroom. RO really confused me for a hot second then. Because I would, like, water closet makes more sense to me. But yeah, I understood what you meant. Well, you're here for now until Twitch is like, no stream for you, you know? I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day. Sorry, I had to. I'm listening to a Spanish politics, like an American politics video in Spanish. I've got a lot to learn, but I just wanted to, like, you know, hear more Spanish. Although I think I'm gonna watch more of it when I can read the Spanish subtitles, so I can, you know, match the sounds to the words. So, I'm trying. I mean, I'm gonna be ending stream now, guys, because I need to lie back down. Hopefully, I'm feeling better in a few days. I've got another few days of antibiotics, so hopefully after that I'll be feeling better. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I will be trying to get to longer streams as soon as I can. I appreciate your guys' understanding during this time. But have a good day, night, morning, afternoon, or evening. Whether you watch this live to video day on YouTube, guys, look after yourselves, stay